The automotive world just got flipped on its head. BYD has unleashed vehicles so advanced, so efficient, that rivals aren't just watching, they're scrambling. Forget the slow drip of incremental progress. This is a quantum leap, a fifth-generation hybrid platform wrapped inside road-ready machines that deliver freedom on a scale drivers have only dreamed about. These aren't concept cars. They're here now, pairing petrol power, instant electric torque, and BYD's infamous Blade battery into a system so refined it borders on impossible. The result? A range so vast you could drive from New York to Miami and back on a single tank and charge. That's not marketing hype. That's the new benchmark. The Chin LDMI and Seal 6 DMI don't scream for attention with flashy gimmicks. Their designs are clean, modern, and understated, almost daring you to underestimate them. But underneath sits the DM 5.0 hybrid system, a masterpiece that rewrites the rulebook. The headline isn't just speed or numbers, it's freedom. More than 1,000 kilometers of uninterrupted driving before you even think about refueling. For hybrids, that was fantasy until now. Industry veterans are already whispering, this isn't a new car launch, it's a declaration of dominance. What makes it so dangerous to competitors is the balance. Formula One-level fuel efficiency fused with instant EV acceleration, wrapped inside vehicles priced for the mass market. Even Toyota, long considered untouchable in hybrid tech, suddenly looks vulnerable. This isn't a fluke. It's the culmination of years of engineering obsession, a relentless pursuit of efficiency, and a refusal to accept limits. The message is clear. With these vehicles, BYD hasn't just entered the fight. They may have already won it. But this kind of dominance doesn't come out of nowhere. While others spent billions chasing headlines with splashy ads and empty promises, BYD poured its resources into something far more dangerous: depth. They built an army of over 120,000 engineers, scaled factories across continents, and fine-tuned every single component until their vehicles bordered on mechanical perfection. It was a strategy built not on noise, but on patience. And now, the results are shaking the industry. The second blow came with price. Starting at just $13,000, the Chin LDMI and Seal 6 DMI didn't just outperform their rivals, they undercut them. While legacy automakers were still stuck in boardroom debates about production costs, BYD was already rolling out vehicles people could actually afford. And when the sales numbers hit, the industry could no longer deny reality. Over 4.3 million vehicles in a single year. This wasn't a regional surge or a one-off win. It was a tectonic shift, the kind of momentum that changes the balance of power across the entire automotive world. At the heart of it all was the DM 5.0 system. More than just an engine, it was a complete reimagining of how a hybrid should work. To appreciate what makes it so disruptive, you have to understand the flaw every petrol engine has carried for decades: waste. In traditional designs, more than half the fuel's energy is lost as heat, bleeding away through exhaust and cooling systems, a mechanical tax the industry quietly accepted as unchangeable. BYD refused to accept it. Their 1.5-liter petrol engine may look modest on paper, 161 horsepower in the efficiency build, 215 in the performance spec. But numbers alone don't tell the story. The secret is how seamlessly it pairs with BYD's electric motor inside the hybrid architecture. Together, they achieved something no production car had before: a thermal efficiency of 46.06%. That figure might look like a footnote in a technical manual, but in reality, It's a revolution. It doesn't just beat Toyota's long-standing record, it edges into the kind of efficiency normally reserved for Formula One. Except this time, it isn't locked away in a race car. It's in a mass-market vehicle anyone can buy. And the most unsettling part? None of this required exotic fuels or fragile prototypes. BYD achieved it with engineering ready for mass production today. That single fact is enough to rattle an industry that usually measures progress in tiny fractions of a percent. The secret lies in layers of technology working together in perfect harmony. A sky-high compression ratio of 16.1 squeezes maximum power from every combustion cycle. Split cooling systems keep each component at its ideal temperature, cutting energy loss. Precision combustion control makes microscopic, real-time adjustments to fuel-air mix and ignition timing. And ultra-low internal friction ensures that the energy created doesn't vanish inside the machine. It goes straight to the wheels. For drivers, the numbers are astonishing. Even if the hybrid battery runs empty, the car still delivers more than 80 miles per gallon. That means fewer fuel stops, fewer compromises, and more uninterrupted journeys. For automakers, it's something more terrifying. Proof that the key to revolutionizing efficiency wasn't locked away in some distant future. It was sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to push it far enough. But BYD didn't push for bragging rights. They weren't chasing supercar acceleration or record-breaking top speeds. Their engineers aimed for balance, performance, efficiency, and durability optimized for millions of everyday drivers. That meant designing a powertrain just as comfortable in bumper-to-bumper city traffic as it is cruising down a highway, with the petrol engine stepping back and the electric motor taking the lead. The result? A drive that feels smooth, quiet, and deceptively effortless. And yet, as groundbreaking as this engine is, it's only half the story. Because BYD didn't just build a more efficient heart for their vehicles. They redefined the entire hybrid system. By inverting the relationship between petrol and electric, they changed not only how the car performs, but how efficiently it lives day to day. But here's the twist. The engine isn't even BYD's biggest weapon. Their true ace in the hole is something else entirely. A piece of technology already reshaping the way the world thinks about electric vehicles. The blade battery advantage. For years, automakers wrestled with the same impossible equation. How do you balance range, cost, safety, and longevity without sacrificing one for the other? Most solved it by compromise. Excel in one area, accept weaknesses in the rest. BYD didn't compromise. They tore up the blueprint and built something entirely new. The blade battery. The name isn't marketing spin. It comes straight from its design. Instead of bulky, block-shaped cells with wasted space in between, BYD engineered long, slender cells stacked side by side like rows of blades. This simple but radical shift reduced dead space inside the pack, boosting energy density by up to 50% without making it any larger. The result? More power in the same footprint. But the innovation didn't stop there. BYD made the blade battery part of the vehicle's structure itself, turning the pack into a backbone for rigidity and safety. Stronger chassis, better handling, improved crash resistance. The battery doesn't just power the car, it makes the entire machine more stable, more secure, and more capable. And then comes safety, the Achilles heel of lithium-ion technology. For years, the specter of thermal runaway haunted EVs, overheating, fires, explosions. BYD attacked it head-on. In brutal nail penetration tests, where most cells erupt into smoke and flame, the blade battery stays inert. No fire, no smoke, no chemical venting. Its secret lies in lithium iron phosphate chemistry, inherently more stable than the nickel-cobalt formulas rivals still cling to. That chemistry carries another gift: longevity. After 3,000 full charge cycles, the Blade battery still retains 90% of its original capacity. In real life, that means more than a decade of driving without noticeable loss, cutting both replacement costs and environmental waste. And with materials like iron and phosphate more abundant and less ethically fraught than cobalt or nickel, BYD's supply chain is both cleaner and more resilient to global shocks. Charging faster. The Blade's cooling design allows rapid charging without dangerous heat buildup, putting drivers back on the road sooner. But perhaps more importantly, the Blade battery reshapes how people actually drive. In the DM 5.0 hybrid system, most short trips, school runs, commutes, errands happen entirely on electric power. The petrol engine stays silent. For many owners, that means their daily life feels like driving a full EV, but without the range anxiety when they need to go farther. And this is where the Blade battery becomes more than just hardware. It becomes strategy. BYD has stripped away the excuses that kept both consumers and competitors hesitating on electrification. Safety, solved. Longevity, proven. Affordability, built in. Even in markets where EV charging infrastructure lags behind, the hybrid integration makes adoption seamless. With the Blade battery, BYD hasn't just given its vehicles more endurance, they've redefined what drivers expect from an electric future. But for BYD, building a vehicle that's efficient and safe is only the beginning. In their eyes, a truly modern car isn't just about what powers it. It's about how it thinks. And the way BYD has taught its cars to process information is every bit as disruptive as the way they taught them to move. The brain behind the machine. A revolutionary hybrid system and an industry-leading battery form the body. But the brain? That's Xuanji, BYD's centralized vehicle architecture. Unlike traditional cars, where dozens of scattered modules handle everything from climate control to braking, each with its own processor and wiring, Xuanji unifies it all into a single high-speed core. This integration matters in ways measured in microseconds. When a driver slams the brakes to avoid danger, Xuanji instantly coordinates ABS, stability control, and power delivery without waiting for multiple systems to talk to each other. Steering corrections, throttle modulation, suspension adjustments all happen in perfect synchronization. In real-world terms, it's the difference between walking away from a near miss and not reacting fast enough. But Xuanji isn't just reactive, it's adaptive. Powered by BYD's DeepSeek AI, the system learns from every journey. It monitors driving style, road conditions, and component health, then optimizes accordingly. If a driver tends to push hard in traffic, Xuanji balances performance with efficiency without dulling the ride. If rough roads are common in a region, it adjusts traction and suspension to match. And here's where BYD's scale becomes its secret weapon. Millions of connected BYD vehicles around the world feed anonymized data back into the network. Rainfall patterns in one city, potholes in another, each lesson absorbed and shared across the fleet in real time. A problem discovered in one corner of the globe becomes a solution everywhere within days. Over-the-air updates turn Xuanji into something alive, something that never stops evolving. Just like a smartphone gaining new features, BYD vehicles receive fresh performance upgrades, enhanced safety algorithms, even new driver assist capabilities, without ever setting foot in a service center. This isn't tech for tech's sake. Xuanji exists to make the driving experience safer, smoother, and more intuitive. While many automakers still treat software as an afterthought, BYD has made it the foundation of their vehicles. The silent partner that manages everything in the background while the driver simply enjoys the journey. But here's the part that changes everything. Xuanji is not just a brain. It's a brain preparing for independence. Because the next stage in BYD's vision is to let that intelligence act on its own, pushing their vehicles into a new era of practical, accessible autonomy. While most automakers talk about self-driving as a distant dream, BYD treats it as a project already unfolding on real roads. Their Pilot system isn't locked in a lab or restricted to prototypes. It's already running across production models today. At its core is DeepSeek R1, a neural network built not to follow rigid rules, but to think. Unlike traditional driver assist programs that execute preset instructions, DeepSeek R1 interprets the chaos of real driving the way a human would, weighing weather, traffic flow, road conditions, even driver habits, before acting in milliseconds. Pilot comes in layers, scaled to different vehicles and price points. Pilot 100 brings adaptive cruise, lane keeping, and emergency braking to entry-level cars. Pilot 300 adds smarter navigation, autopilot, intelligent lane changes, and self-parking. At the top, Pilot 600 pushes into true autonomy. Long stretches of hands-free highway driving, high-speed navigation, and memory parking that lets the car return to a stored spot without the driver lifting a finger. But the real disruption isn't just capability, it's accessibility. Where rivals lock advanced autonomy behind luxury price tags, BYD makes it available even in models under $10,000. Technology once reserved for the elite is being democratized for the mass market. The scale of development is staggering. Over 5,000 engineers work solely on Pilot. Every single day, BYD's global fleet generates more than 45 million miles of driving data. Each sudden pedestrian crossing, unexpected lane closure, or freak weather event encountered by one vehicle becomes a learning experience for the entire network. The feedback loop is relentless. The more cars BYD sells, the smarter Pilot becomes. That intelligence isn't limited to reacting quickly. It anticipates. If traffic flow hints at a hazard 2 blocks ahead, Pilot adjusts before the driver even senses a problem. Safety is hardwired into the system. In heavy rain, it leans on radar and ultrasonic sensors. In blinding sunlight, it shifts to infrared and shadow mapping. The transition between these modes is seamless, ensuring no gap in awareness, no break in protection. This isn't a beta test. It's autonomy as a living system, constantly learning, constantly upgrading, and it's already in the hands of everyday drivers. For all the brilliance of BYD's 5th-generation hybrid system, none of it would matter if it were priced beyond the reach of everyday drivers. This is where their strategy becomes truly disruptive. Instead of using innovation as an excuse for luxury markups, BYD has turned advanced technology into a mass-market offering. Their cars routinely undercut rivals like Tesla by as much as 15%, while packing in features that equal or even exceed those of premium brands. Even budget models, some priced below $10,000, include hybrid drivetrains, advanced driver assistance, and the durability of the Blade battery. For buyers, it forces a simple question: why pay more for less? This accessibility is no accident. BYD's vertical integration, building batteries, motors, and control systems entirely in-house, slashes costs while preserving quality. Add to this a strong tailwind of government subsidies at home, and the company can scale production at speeds competitors can't match without bleeding margins. Of course, disruption rarely goes unchallenged. Heavy tariffs in the US and new import duties in the European Union are clear signs that BYD's rise is making the West uneasy. Yet even with these political barriers, their dominance across Asia and emerging markets keeps the momentum alive. BYD is not just selling cars, they are selling the idea that the future of mobility should be for everyone, not just the wealthy few. Their fifth-generation hybrid technology isn't another incremental step forward. It's a redrawing of the rules themselves. With unmatched efficiency, intelligent architecture, practical autonomy, and disruptive pricing, BYD has made world-class engineering both innovative and affordable. And if this is what they've achieved by 2025, the real question isn't whether they can compete. It's whether anyone else can catch up.